Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Tovia. We're going to be making steak tacos, and I'm going to be using Steak Umms. Guys, if you are like in a rush to make dinner, if you really need dinner to come together quick, this is it for you guys. Believe me, the Steak Umms cooks really quickly. You'll find all the ingredients you need in the description box as well as throughout the video. So I just took a handful of fresh cilantro. You can use as little as much as you want. This is totally up to you guys. You know, some people don't really like a lot of cilantro, some people do. So I have my small little Tupperware chopper, and I'm just gonna put some onions in with the cilantro, and I just give this a chop. And once I just get this halfway chopped up, I'll just put in the remaining onion and just chop that up. Now, if you don't have a hand chopper, you can just, chop everything up by hand. This is going to be your topping for your tacos. It's going to give it so much flavor. Shout out to Sheila T. So, we're going to set this aside. So for our meat, we're going to be using Steak Umms. I'm using the 14 steaks box, which is 1 pound. I found this at Walmart. If you can't find this in your store, by all means, you can just use 1 pound of ground beef, or you can use 1 pound of thin shaven steak. So for the Steak Umms, I got my Dutch oven here on medium-high heat. And you're not going to have to add any oil to this, you're going to see. And this cooks real quick. It's amazing. So they come in sheets with paper between them, individual thin sheets of steak. So like I said, got my pot here on medium high, so I'm just gonna break the steak up. It's easy to break up, and I'll just shake it loose to get all that paper off. So I'm just gonna do this whole box. I'm gonna take my wooden spoon. I'm working on medium-high heat the whole time. I'm not going to add any seasonings until after we cook everything. So I'm just going to break down with my spoon. Just give everything a flip. So you see it's creating grease in the bottom of the pan. So as long as you don't have your pot too hot, it will create the grease that you need to have in your pot. So I'm just going to work by breaking everything up and just continue to stir everything until it's nice and browned. So my meat is completely done. I'm going to remove it from the heat. So after you remove everything from the heat, we're going to just pour this through a sieve, and I have a bowl. So I'm pouring this through this little sieve so I can press all this fat out. So I like to use my sifter because it just ensures that I do a good job. So sieve or a fine mesh strainer, that's what this is. So I just press until no more fat comes out, and really nothing comes out. So we're good. So that's a lot. See, all that came out from the steak. So I'm gonna return my steak back to my Dutch oven. So after I return my steak to my Dutch oven, I'm gonna turn my heat on to medium-high heat, and I'm gonna pour in about a half a cup of water. So I have all my spices here. I have in my little cup. That's 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoons of paprika. Now for the salt, you do want to taste it in, and if it needs more salt, then you add the salt. So I'm just going to mix everything together. This is starting to heat up, so I'm going to turn the heat down to medium. So I added about 1/2 cup of water. I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm going to show you what we're after. So I'm going to stir. I'm putting like about 3/4 cup of water, or you can use low sodium beef stock, chicken stock for this part. So I'm going to allow the liquid to begin to kind of come up to a slight boil. So as it's coming up to a slight boil, just give it a stir. And now I'm going to let this simmer cover for about 5 minutes. And see, there's still some water there, and that's what you want. So after it simmers for 5 minutes, taste it. If it needs more salt, then you add the salt. So for my taco shells, I'm heating up like a little less than half a cup of vegetable oil. And I have some white corn tortilla shells. I'm going to just fry them up. Now I made 1 pound of ground beef. This is going to be enough for my household for about 2 days. So I'm guesstimating that it would probably make about 20 tacos or so, depending on how much you stuff your shells. So I'm heating my oil, and my oil's nice and hot, but not so super hot. And what I'm doing is I'm dipping the tortilla into the oil. I want the oil to moisten it, and after you moisten it with the oil, just fold it in half. Because you're not going to be able to fold it in half. If you try to fold them in half straight out of the pack, they're going to crack. Just fold them over. Now if you have a pair of tongs, you can certainly do this with a pair of tongs if you're scared to use your fingers. So I use my tongs, and I just let them cook for about a minute, just so they start to get a nice little golden brown on them. Don't take very long. The way I kind of know when it's time to flip them is when I use my tongs. When I go to lift them, if it's not all soft and wobbly, then you know you can go ahead and flip them. And then after you flip them, you just let them go for about another 30 seconds or so. I don't want to fry them too long because it's going to make it hard to feel. So this is, I think we're good here. So I just stack my shells on top of each other. Grab with my tongs and just shake till all the oil comes off. And then I have a little wire basket that I'm just going to set this in, and that way they can finish draining in the wire basket. Also have air circulating to keep your shells from coming out too mushy. So I have my little wire basket, and I just lay them in that. And I separate them, of course. So to dress our tacos, I'm just going to take some of our taco meat and put that in the middle of our shell. And then after I put the taco meat in the shell, I top it with a little bit of lettuce that I just chopped up very fine. I just chopped it very thin to nice little julienne threads. And I put cheese, shredded cheese on top. Use whatever type of cheese you desire. Then I'm going to spoon over some of our onion and cilantro mixture. And then I'm going to add a dollop of sour cream in the middle. So here's the tacos. Don't they look really good? On the onion and cilantro, cheese. Oh my god, it smells amazing. Give us a taste. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new. Don't forget to check out my previous videos, and please leave a comment down below. That's delicious. And squeeze a little bit of lime on them, a little bit of sriracha. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. I love the flavors, especially from the raw onion and cilantro that's on top. It really takes this flavor of the tacos to a whole nother dimension. So there you have it, how to make quick and easy steak tacos. Please leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up, share this video, add it to your playlist. Thank you so much for watching and supporting, and I'll see you guys next time.